All right. James Laurinaitis' future. Can the little animal become the next Brian Hartline? Now, let's go back in time a little bit. We had a wide receivers coach
Mhm.
who was pretty good, Zach Smith. I think he was pretty good. He recruited well. Um, he recruited well. Okay. I think Zach recruited well, and I think he wasn't too bad at development either. I think Michael
Yeah.
Thomas is one that gets a
Yeah.
lot of credit, gives him a lot of credit. Braxton Miller gives Zach Smith a lot of credit when he went from quarterback over to wide receiver in
Yep.
his development, got him to the NFL. But you know how all that went down with Zach and with Urban Meyer, and then Brian Hartline stepped in, was not given the title the first year, if you recall,
Right.
that he was there. He was kind of filling in there. And then after that year, he did so well, they said, hey, it's your position. And he is just taken off. The guy is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of, if not the most important assistant coaches in all of college football. He is coveted for head coaching positions already. Can James kind of follow that trajectory that Brian Hartline has laid out before him in being a successful college, going to the NFL? I would even dare to say James probably had a little bit more successful of an NFL career than Brian did. And now here he is at his alma mater. Can he have that same trajectory in the coaching ranks, start as a GA, fill in as the position coach eventually, continue to grow in that position? Maybe down the road, we're looking at the next defensive coordinator when Jim Knowles retires. What do you think?
Well, I think it's hard to say that he's going to be the next great assistant. Yeah, I agree. There are many similarities there from playing for the Buckeyes to their NFL careers. You know, but Brian Hartline has established himself in many ways. You look at him; he's not only maybe one of the best recruiting position coaches, he may be the best recruiting coach overall in the nation. I truly believe that. Uh, you look at what he's done as far as productivity. His guys, not only does he recruit them, he develops them, and he does nothing but pump out top tier draft picks. I do think that Laurinaitis has that potential. I think that these guys are both guys who are young, who have played in the league, but are still, how do I want to be, close enough to relevant as far as their age goes, that they're going to be able to relate really well to these young guys. I mean, you hear the guys talk about Brian Hartline, they're the receivers, and they really like him. They like to play for him. From what I'm hearing, the guys at Notre Dame were very much the same way with James Laurinaitis. He is an intense guy, but he's a player's coach, and the players enjoy and appreciate what he brings to the table. So I don't think it's that far fetched to say that this guy could be the Brian Hartline of our defense, but I do think he's got a little ways to go to prove it. I want to see what he does after the first year. I want to see what he does recruiting. I want to see what he does developing not only the guys we've got, but developing the young guys like, for instance, a CJ Hicks. See where we're at with these guys at the end of this season, and then I say we revisit this question, and we'll have a little bit better of an answer.
Speaking of CJ Hicks, Ryan says, watch out for him.
Oh, I agree, and I think James Laurinaitis is just the guy that can get the most out of him. I truly do.
Let's take a few more comments here about this. Brian Steinbrook says, when he was in school, he was a man child, now a straight beast. He's going to do and bring great traits to OSU recruiting and great ethics to young, maturing men. Actually,
I
that's a
agree.
that's a very good comment, Bronson, because the little bit I know about James Laurinaitis from interviews and hearing him on the radio on a daily basis at 97.1 The Fan, the guy has a code of ethics about him. He's a family man first. He speaks very highly about his little girls that he has. He never ever badmouthed his wife on the radio ever. Um, he always talked about instilling in his children great work ethic that he got from his dad.
Well, would you have wanted to upset that guy, Eric? I mean, come on.
I believe if you did, it would be a rush. If you catch my
Oh,
drift,
yeah.
what a rush!
What a rush.
Um, I love that picture. In fact, it was the picture that we posted for the advertisement for this live show of him wearing the spiked shoulder pads and his dad
Yes.
wearing his jersey when he played for the St. Louis Rams. And I loved that father son relationship they had that he's talked about. It's too bad that his father went well before his time. And God rest his soul. But hearing James and how he dealt with that on a personal level as a son, having lost a father, but then also being the son of a famous father.
Right.
Okay. I think that there's a lot there that he can pull on as a coach. Believe it or not, that he's going to be able to instill in those young men those ethics, those traits that he learned from his dad. But I also think that there's an intensity about him.
Oh, without a
He's
doubt.
he's not the little animal for no reason. Um, there's definitely an intensity about him that I like. Brad Olberding chimes in. Yes, the sky is the limit for LJ as far as coaching in the future. I agree. I just think this is a home run hire, man. I really
Absolutely.
do. There's nothing about this that I don't like. I think all of Buckeye Nation celebrated this one. I really do. And the fact that we get him on a lateral move,
Yes.
okay, from GA to GA, what's that tell you? That tells you he wanted to be here.
Do you think that maybe he just went to Notre Dame to get his feet wet?
Absolutely. That was
Just
what
to
the
see, is this what I want to do? Because I don't want to let the people in Columbus down if this isn't what I truly want. He went over there. He coached with his friend Marcus Freeman, who I believe they played together. So I think that this was, let me get my feet wet, make sure this is what I want to jump into with my life, and then I'm going to make the move to go back to where I belong.
I don't know the details of the conversation that was had, but I do know there was a conversation had between James and the Ohio State coaching staff. And I'm pretty sure somebody, when they get in front of Ryan Day, is going to ask this question from the media. Why wasn't he hired to begin with? And the rumor that was floating around was that Ryan and the maybe Gene, I don't know, said to him, "You need some more experience." So he got
Yeah.
that experience, and then 1 year later, apparently Ryan is knocking his door down for him to come
Do
back to
you
Ohio
think?
State.
Well, and I'm wondering a little bit, and maybe I'm off base here because he is just a grad assistant, so to speak. But do you think the fact that we lost Luke Fickle to Wisconsin had anything to do with them pulling the trigger quicker on James Laurinaitis?
Well, the rumor is that Luke was trying to get him to be the
Yes.
linebackers coach over Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So again, that wouldn't be a lateral move. That would be a move up. But he took the lateral move to come back home. So he definitely has, as Larry Daniels says here, strong roots, right?
Yes.
Strong roots are here. This is where home is. This is where family is, which is again very similar to who? Brian Hartline,
Yeah.
right? Brian Hartline could be the head coach at Cincinnati right now, this very minute,
Absolutely.
and he stayed here. I think having that bond of being home, being at your alma mater, having that love for Ohio State is very important to these guys. And I'll tell you who else it's very important to. Luke Fickle.
Yeah.